Glory be to him who carried his servant by night from the sacred mosque to the Father's mosque, whose precincts we have blessed, that we might show him some of our signs. Truly he is the hearer and seer. One of the Persian Sufi poets of the 12th century, Fakhruddin Attar, portrayed it as follows. In the night Gabriel came and is filled with joy. He called, "Wake up, you leader of the world, leave this dark place and go now to the eternal kingdom of God. Direct your foot to where there is no place, and knock there at the door of the sanctuary. The world is all excited for you. The seraphs of the night are your lowly slaves, and the prophets and messengers stand in rows to see your beauty in this blessed night. The gates of skies and paradise are open. To see you fills many hearts with joy. Tonight you ask what you intend from him, for without doubt you will behold God." Buraq was now brought near as lightning fast. God had created him from his pure light, from head to toe enlivened by the light of God, and from the wind he learned speed and swiftness. The prophet mounted him in time and space. He left this place for where there is no place. There rose a tumult in the greatest throne. Here comes the first, the full moon of the words. Angels stood with trays to spread coins for him whom they all loved with soul and heart. He saw the prophets on his way in line to tell him about the divine mysteries. When Jesus saw him sublime and lofty, he made him unique in poverty. Then when he felt the nearness of the friend, he went to see the presence of the friend. When Ahmad ran beyond the cedar tree to find the essence of the supreme friend, his faithful guide, this mighty Gabriel, whose one wing covers all from sky to earth, stayed there in the pack. But Mustafa went on, soon drawing closer to the royal hall. The prince now turned to Gabriel and asked, "Why do you stay behind? Come with me now." He replied, "O my king of mysteries, I can't go any farther. Can't proceed. You, the ruler of the world, must go ahead. My way ends here, and more is not allowed. Should I proceed a hair's breadth in my flight, my wings would burn in God's consuming light. But you must go towards the supreme friend, because it befits you to be so close." Thus the prophet went and left him there. Cut off his heart from everything but God, he went so fast that when he looked again, the mighty Gabriel looked like a wren. Proceeding farther, he left this behind and looked into the veils of the unseen. He saw no place, direction, reason, thought. No throne, no floor, no the dusty earth. He saw the non-place, without soul and eye. He in perplexed was hidden there. When he perceived the end in the beginning, he hears a call, a message from the friend. A call come from essence of the all. "Live body and soul, transitory one. You, O my aim and goal, enter now and see my essence face to face, my friend." In awe he lost his speech and lost himself. Muhammad did not know Muhammad here, saw not himself. He saw the soul of souls, the face of him who created the universe. In another surah it is said, "Do you then dispute with him as to what he saw? And indeed he saw him another time, at the low tree of the boundary, by which lies the garden of the refuge, when they covered the low tree that which covered." Regarding whom the prophet saw in the verse, there are three viewpoints. Some say that the prophet saw Gabriel, some say that the prophet saw God with his inner view and his spiritual heart, others say that the prophet saw God with his eyes. Those, especially the Sufis, who think that the prophet saw God, refer to another verse, "The gaze swerved not, nor did it transgress." This verse in their view shows that even the prophet didn't turn his eyes away during the immediate vision of the divine. Here it seems appropriate and relevant in this context to mention a hadith narrated by Ibn Abbas. Ibn Abbas said that in the heavenly journey, the prophet had a vision of God both with the eye of the heart and the physical eye. With his infinite power, God synchronized the light of his inner eye with the light of his outer eye in such a way that has two become united harmoniously, that there is no longer any difference between the two through the actualization of complete unity. Rumi commented on the vision of the prophet, "I closed my eyes tightly from both words. That's what I learned from Mustafa. The mystery of it didn't swerve and it didn't transgress. Where but from him could I learn it?" In respect of the previous verse, there is a distinct level between the meeting of the Prophet Muhammad and Moses with God. In the Quran it is stated, "And when Moses came to our appointed meeting and his Lord spoke unto him, he said, My Lord, show me that I might look upon thee. He said, Thou shalt not see me, but look upon the mountain. If it remains firm in its place, then thou wilt see me. And when his Lord manifested himself to the mountain, he made it crumble to dust, and Moses fell down in a swoon." According to one Persian Sufi poet, Hakim Sana'i, Musa caught "Thou shalt not see me," where the prophets experienced the gaze swerved not, nor did it transgress. In this regard, Najmuddin Razi, a Persian Sufi of the 13th century, classified the special friend of God into two. The one is the lover, that is, in this context, Moses, whose prayer was rejected, while the other is the beloved, that is, Muhammad, who was invited by God to have come in his exalted presence in the heavenly journey. The Prophet Muhammad was given without asking. Furthermore, we see that the level of religious life of the Prophet Muhammad is not mystical annihilation or fana, as Moses fell down in a swoon, since the Prophet experienced the presence of God in full consciousness. According to Al-Qushairi, the writer of the epistle, the Prophet Muhammad was in the station of Tamkin, being firmly fixed in the ultimate station of Tawhid or unity, which is different from Moses, who was in the station of Talwin, spiritual intoxication. A Persian Sufi of the 11th century, Al-Hujwiri, stated, Moses was intoxicated. He could not endure the manifestation of one epiphany, but fell in a swoon. Our apostle, Muhammad, was sober. He beheld the same glory continuously, with ever-increasing consciousness, all the way from Mecca until he stood at the space of 2 bow's length from the divine presence. The expression meant by Hujwiri, until he stood at the space of 2 bow's length from the divine presence, refers to another verse in the same surah. Then he drew nigh and came close, till he was within 2 bow's length or nearer. Once again, the he, in the view of the Sufis, is not Gabriel, but God, as Attar depicted it earlier. My way ends here, and more is not allowed. Should I proceed a hair's breadth in my flight, my wings would burn in God's consuming light. But you must go towards the Supreme Friend, because it befits you to be so close. This shows that whatever Gabriel's greatness, Muhammad's was of a special order. In the tradition of Islamic philosophy, Gabriel is the 10th intellect, Aqlul Ashir or Aqlul Fa'al. Yunus Emre, a Sufi poet in the 14th century, stated, For lovers, Gabriel is nothing more than a veil. Rumi also often used Gabriel as a symbol of intellect, which can indeed guide a person to the door of the beloved, but is not allowed to enter it, because the intellect must stop at the threshold of love, as Gabriel expressed by Attar, I cannot go farther, cannot proceed, my way ends here, and more is not allowed. Let's get back to the verse. Then he drew nigh and came close, till he was within 2 bow's length or nearer. Then what is meant with the 2 bow's length? Qoba Qawsain. In Ibn Arabi's point of view, this Qoba Qawsain is the place where the revelation takes place, as well as a station or maqam of closeness, al-Qurb wa Taqrib. This term is a symbol of the meeting of God with the Prophet. It refers to the symbolism that the meeting is like 2 bows that are close together, almost like a circle. Then, aw adna or nearer, this is one station, maqam, after the previous station, Qoba Qawsain. So the former is only close together that looks like a circle. At the station, the two are even nearer, or the fine juncture where the 2 halves of a bow are glued together. When the one is glued to the other, it looks like one, even though there are 2 bows, and each bow remains visible. If 2 halves of a bow are glued together, it seems a circle. Unlike line, for a circle, it is impossible to know which is the beginning and which is the end. It has become one, union. It is important to note that this union occurs at the level of Wahidiyah, in the plane of oneness, not in the plane of that, or his essence. After experiencing the divine presence, having a face-to-face dialogue with God, and getting command of the 5 daily prayers, the Prophet eventually descended into or returned to the world to change the conditions of the world. The 5 daily prayers are not only a gift of God but also reflects the heavenly journey of the Prophet. Hence the Prophet used to say, "O Bilal, give me peace and pleasure with the call to prayer, and also in my prayer there is something which refreshes my eyes. It amounts to meeting with God or Mi'raj." It is asserted that in a hadith, prayer is the spiritual ascension of the believer. In my view, the Prophet realizes and teaches us the spiritual ascension in the Word with no Buraq. The return of the Prophet to the Word is precisely the culmination of his spiritual journey itself. His return to the Word is highlighted by Muhammad Iqbal, a Pakistani philosopher cum poet, quoting a statement of an Indian Sufi named Abdul Quddus Gangohi. Muhammad of Arabia ascended to the highest heaven and returned. "I swear by God, had I been in his place, I would not have come back." Iqbal elucidates that statement discloses such an acute perception of the psychological difference between the prophetic and the mystic types of consciousness. The mystic doesn't wish to return from the repose of unitary experience, and even when he does return, as he must, his return doesn't mean much for mankind at large. The Prophet's return is creative. He returns to insert himself into the sweep of time with a view to control the forces of history and thereby to create a fresh world of ideals. For the mystic, the repose of unitary experience is something final. For the Prophet, it is awakening within him of world-shaking psychological forces calculated to completely transform the human world. However, not all Sufis have the same standpoint as Abdul Quddus says. For instance, Ibn al-Farid states that the night journey denotes the third stage of oneness, in which the mystic returns from the trance of unification to the serenity of unification. That is the station of abiding, subsistence, or baqa, like the prophetic path elucidated by Iqbal. The most significant thing to highlight is the beginning of the verse describing the night journey and the heavenly journey of the Prophet. "Glory be to him who carried his servant by night." The word "abdu," his servants, is addressed to the Prophet and in particular is used to designate the Prophet during his supreme religious experience. His servants is also used to express that servant is extremely special, since the term is said again at the culmination of his heavenly journey. Then he revealed to his servant what he revealed. His servant here certainly occupies the highest position as a spiritual station and as an honorific attribute to be given to a human. Put simply, being his servant makes one occupy the highest position. Moreover, however much God had exalted and glorified the Prophet amongst all creatures, a call up to who, or his servants, serves to remind all Muslims that Muhammad is still a servant and he is also a created being. Even during his highest mystical experience at the culmination of the heavenly journey, an honorific title to describe the Prophet Muhammad in Sufism is the perfect man, Al-Insanul Kamil. In the definition of Shabistari, a Persian Sufi poet of the 14th century, the perfect man is he who goes the twofold way, down into the world of phenomena, then upward to the light and divine unity. Al-Ahad was made manifest in the meme of Ahmad. In this circuit, the first emanation became the last. A single meme divides Ahad from Ahmad. The word is immersed in that one meme. Thank you so much for watching.